You walk into a lunch date feeling light. You order food, you laugh, but by the time you get back to your car, you feel heavy, physically drained. A sudden fog of sadness or irritation has settled over you, and you ask yourself, what just happened? I was fine an hour ago. Why do I suddenly feel like I need to sleep for a week? If this sounds familiar, you are not crazy, and you are not depressed. You are experiencing what I call an emotional hangover. For millions of women, especially those in the second half of life, empathy is a double-edged sword. You have the beautiful ability to feel deeply, but you also have a dangerous tendency to absorb. You walk through the world like a psychic sponge, soaking up the anxiety of your children, the stress of your partner, and the grief of your friends. You carry it all home in your body, and because it is not your pain to begin with, you cannot process it. So it sits there, heavy, toxic, exhausting. Carl Jung had a name for this phenomenon. He called it psychic contagion. He understood that emotions are not just personal experiences. They are contagious energies that can jump from one person to another, just like a virus. But unlike a virus, we are rarely taught how to build an immune system against other people's feelings. We are taught to be nice, to be open, to be there for everyone. And for a woman in midlife, that openness has become a liability. In the next few minutes, we are going to validate your sensitivity, but we are also going to protect it. We are going to explore why your boundaries have become so porous. And most importantly, we are going to learn the ancient art of wringing out the sponge. You do not have to stop caring to stop carrying. It is time to give back what does not belong to you. Let us begin.
To understand why this happens to you, we need to look at the invisible mechanics of your empathy. We need to understand how you became a sponge in a world of stones. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Clara. Clara is 54 years old. She is kind, she is a good listener, and she is tired. One Tuesday afternoon, Clara goes to the grocery store. She is actually feeling quite good. She had a productive morning, the sun is shining. She pushes her cart into the checkout line. Standing directly in front of her is another woman. This woman is not yelling, she is not making a scene, but she is radiating an intense, vibrating anger. She is slamming her items onto the conveyor belt. Her shoulders are tight up to her ears. Her energy feels like a storm cloud confined in a human body. Clara does not speak to her. She does not even make eye contact. She just stands behind her for 3 minutes, waiting to pay for her apples and milk. But in those 3 minutes, something invisible happens. It is as if a wireless transfer of data takes place. The anger, radiating from the stranger, enters Clara's energetic field. Clara pays for her groceries. She walks to her car, and suddenly her hands are shaking. Her chest feels tight. The sunshine looks a little less bright. She drives home, and the moment she walks through the door, her husband asks a simple question. "Hey, "Did you remember to get the coffee?" And Clara explodes. She snaps at him. She feels a rage that is disproportionate to the moment. Later that night, as she lies in bed feeling guilty, she wonders, "Why am I so angry? I was having such a good day." Here is the truth. Clara is not angry. Clara is infected. She caught that anger at the grocery store, just like you might catch a cold. She absorbed it because she has spent her entire life conditioning herself to be open to the feelings of others. This brings us to a profound concept in depth psychology. We all know that we have a physical skin. Your physical skin is a miracle. It holds your organs in. It keeps bacteria out. It tells you where you end and where the rest of the world begins. But Jungian psychology suggests that we also have a psychic skin, a protective membrane around our soul that decides what energy gets in and what stays out. For most people, this psychic skin is thick, sometimes too thick. They can walk through a room of grieving people and feel nothing. But for you, and for many women in the sandwich generation, that psychic skin has become dangerously thin. It has become porous. Why did this happen? It is not a defect. It is an adaptation. Think about your life over the last 20 years. You have likely been a mother, or a wife, or a devoted daughter. To be good at these roles, you had to soften your boundaries. You had to be able to feel what your baby needed before he cried. You had to be able to sense your husband's mood the moment he walked in the door, so you could adjust the atmosphere of the home. You tuned into your aging mother's unspoken pain. You trained yourself to be hyper-vigilant. You trained your nervous system to constantly scan the environment for emotional data. This was necessary for survival. It made you a wonderful caregiver. It made you the glue that held the family together. But here's the cost. You can't turn the scanner off. You are walking through the world with your psychic skin removed. You are raw. So when you walk into that grocery store, or that crowded office, or that holiday party, you are not just observing the energy, you are metabolizing it. You are processing the emotions of strangers as if they were your own children. Your unconscious mind does not know the difference between the woman in the checkout line and a person you love. It just feels the distress and immediately tries to hold it, soothe it, or fix it. And because you can't fix a stranger's anger, you store it. You store it in your shoulders, in your jaw, in the pit of your stomach. This is the anatomy of the emotional hangover. It is the physical residue of an energetic burden that was never yours to carry. Carl Jung spoke about a concept called participation mystique. It's an old term, but it describes something very modern. It describes a state where the subject, that is you, cannot distinguish themselves from the object, that is the other person. It's a state of unconscious identity fusion. In primitive psychology, this was how the tribe survived. If one person felt fear, Everyone felt fear, and the tribe moved as one. But in your modern life, this fusion is destroying you. You are fused with your stressed-out boss. You are fused with your anxious teenager. You are fused with the angry news cycle. You are losing the sense of where you end and where the rest of the world begins. And this loss of separation is the primary cause of your exhaustion. It takes an immense amount of vitality to process feelings that do not belong to you. It's like trying to digest a meal that someone else ate. Your body is working overtime, trying to resolve conflicts that are not yours to resolve. And the tragedy is, while you're busy carrying everyone else's shadow, you have no energy left to deal with your own. You might think that building a thicker skin means becoming cold or uncaring. This is the great fear of the empath. You worry that if you stop absorbing, you will stop loving. But I want to offer you a different perspective. Think of a surgeon. A surgeon cares deeply about the patient on the table. But the surgeon does not feel the pain while he cuts. If he felt the pain, his hands would shake. He would not be able to operate. He needs a boundary in order to be effective. Right now, your hands are shaking. You are too merged with the pain of the world to be of any real service to it. Your empathy has become a drowning pool instead of a life raft. We need to help you grow a new psychic skin, not a wall that shuts people out, but a filter, a wise, discriminating filter that allows love to come in but keeps the toxicity out. This process begins with awareness. It begins with the realization that just because you feel it doesn't mean it's yours. In the next part of this video, we are going to look deeper into this phenomenon of contagion. We are going to explore why certain people trigger this absorption more than others. And we will begin the work of separating your energy from the collective soup of emotions around you. You have spent years opening yourself up. Now it is time to learn the sacred art of closing.
To truly heal from the emotional hangover, we must go deeper than just looking at surface triggers. We must examine the air you breathe. Carl Jung observed something fascinating about human interaction. He noticed that emotions are not solid objects. They are more like smoke or like a gas. If someone releases toxic gas in a closed room, everyone in that room will eventually inhale it. It does not matter if you are a good person. It does not matter if you have positive intentions. If you breathe, you take it in. This is what Jung meant by psychic contagion. But for you, the woman who feels everything deeply, it goes even further. You are not just breathing in the smoke, you are trying to filter it with your own lungs. You are unconsciously trying to purify the atmosphere of your home or your workplace using your own body as the filter. Think about your aging mother. When you sit with her and she is emanating fear about her health or bitterness about her past, you do not just hear her words. You open your own chest and you take her fear inside of you. You think, if I carry this for her, she will feel lighter. This is a magical type of thinking that Jung called participation mystique. It is a French term he borrowed to describe a state of mystical participation where the subject cannot distinguish herself from the object. It is a primitive, unconscious state of oneness. In this state, there is no I and you. There is only us. And while this sounds romantic or spiritual, in the context of the sandwich generation, it is destructive. Because when you are in participation mystique with your teenage daughter, her anxiety becomes your anxiety. Her panic attacks become your heart palpitations. You are no longer the sturdy captain of the ship helping her navigate the storm. You have jumped into the water and are drowning with her. And two drowning people cannot save each other. This fusion creates a unique kind of heaviness. It is the heaviness of living a life that is not yours. You are carrying what I call emotional karma that does not belong to you. Each person in your life, your partner, your parents, your children, your friends, they are all on their own soul journey. They have their own shadows to face, their own lessons to learn, their own burdens to carry. When you use your empathy to absorb their pain, you are interfering with their soul work, and you are exhausting your own. I want to pause here for a moment, because this is a lot to take in intellectually. I want to move from your head down into your body. We are going to do a somatic check-in right now. Wherever you are, I want you to place your hand on your belly, right over your solar plexus. This is often where we store the energy of others. Take a breath into your hand. Do not force it. Just let the breath find the hand. Now, I want you to tune into the feeling in your gut right now. Is there a knot? Is there a heaviness? Is there a low-level hum of anxiety? Focus on that sensation, and I want you to ask it a very simple but radical question. Ask it, is this mine? Wait for the answer. Do not think about the answer. Feel for it. Does the sensation shift? Does it feel like it belongs to you, or does it feel like something you picked up, like a piece of lint on a sweater? For many of you, the answer will be a quiet, no, it is not yours. That anxiety might belong to your husband who was worried about money. That sadness might belong to your sister. That irritability might belong to the news cycle you watched this morning. If you get a no, I want you to visualize that sensation leaving your body with your next exhale. Blow it out. Give it back to the universe. It is not safe for you to keep it. This simple question, is this mine, is the beginning of breaking the participation mystique. It is the first step in differentiating your soul from the collective soup of emotions around you. But why is this so hard? Why do we resist letting go of other people's pain? Jung would suggest that there is a shadow side to our empathy. We must be brave enough to look at it. Sometimes we hold on to the pain of others because it makes us feel needed. It makes us feel indispensable. If I am the only one who understands my mother's pain, then I am special. If I am the only one who can calm my partner down, then I am safe. This is the hidden contract of the empath. We trade our energy for safety. We trade our boundaries for connection. But true connection, mature connection, does not require you to lose yourself. Think of two trees growing side by side. Their roots might intertwine underground, but their trunks stand separate. If one tree tries to lean entirely on the other, both will eventually fall. You have been the leaning tree, or the tree being leaned upon for too long. The emotional hangover is the sound of your timber creaking under the weight. It is your nervous system screaming, "I cannot hold up this forest by myself anymore." You might be afraid that if you stop absorbing, you will become cold. You will become one of those people who doesn't care. But there is a vast difference between coldness and containment. A container is strong. A container holds space, but a container does not leak. Imagine a ceramic cup holding hot tea. The cup holds the heat. It holds the liquid, but the cup does not dissolve into the tea. It remains ceramic. It maintains its integrity. Right now, you are a sugar cube in hot tea. You are dissolving. We need to help you become the ceramic cup. This brings us to the necessity of energetic hygiene. Just as you brush your teeth every day to remove the residue of food, you must learn to brush your psyche every day to remove the residue of emotions. Most women in their 50s have excellent physical hygiene. You shower, you use skincare, but you have zero energetic hygiene. You walk around with 20 years of accumulated emotional plaque, and you wonder why you are tired. The emotional hangover is simply the result of a clogged filter. Your psychic skin is clogged with the debris of 1,000 conversations, 1,000 worries, 1,000 moments of taking on what was not yours. So how do we clean the filter? How do we repair the psychic skin so that it can do its job again? How do we move from being a sponge to being a shield? Not a shield that blocks out love, but a shield that reflects negativity. A shield that says, "I see your pain, I honor your pain, but I will not become your pain." This requires practical tools. It requires rituals. It requires a new way of navigating the world. We are going to explore specific techniques used by Jungian analysts and energy workers to create this sacred separation. These are not just mental exercises, they are somatic practices. Because the issue is in your body, the solution must be in your body too. Let us look at how to wring out the sponge and build a golden shield that will allow you to walk through a storm without getting wet.
Now we move from understanding to action. We move from the diagnosis of the porous boundary to the construction of the sacred shield. You might be thinking, I have been this way for 50 years. Is it really possible to change my energetic skin now? The answer is yes, because boundaries are not walls made of stone. They are muscles, and like any muscle, they can be strengthened with repetition. We are going to learn 3 specific rituals to wring out the sponge and to protect your peace. The first ritual is called the water release. Water is the universal symbol of the unconscious, but it is also the great cleanser. You likely take a shower every day to clean your physical body, but I want you to change how you shower, starting tonight. When you step under the water, I want you to close your eyes. Imagine that the emotional residue of the day, the frustration of your coworker, the sadness of your friend, the anxiety of the world is sitting on your skin like a layer of gray dust, or like sticky tar. As the warm water hits your head and runs down your back, visualize that dust turning into black ink. See it physically leaving your body. Watch it swirl around your feet and disappear down the drain. You must be active in this visualization. You must say to yourself, I am washing away what is not mine. I am returning this energy to the earth to be recycled. Stay under the water until you feel the water running clear in your mind's eye. This is not just hygiene, it is a ritual of separation. It tells your unconscious mind that the day is done, and you are no longer on duty as the emotional garbage collector. The second ritual is for protection. It is called the golden shield. This is something you do in the morning, before you walk out the door or before you pick up your phone. For the empath, leaving the house without energetic protection is like walking into a blizzard without a coat. I want you to take a moment before you start your car or while you are drinking your coffee. Close your eyes and imagine a sphere of golden light surrounding your entire body. It extends about 3 feet in every direction, under your feet and over your head. You are inside a golden egg. This light is intelligent. It has a specific programming. You are going to give it a command. Say to this shield, "Only love and truth may enter here. Everything else is reflected back to its source." Visualize the negativity of others hitting this shield and bouncing off, like rain hitting window pane. It does not harm you. It simply cannot touch you. This might sound like a fantasy, but Jung taught us that the psyche treats imagined realities as real. When you visualize this shield, you are setting an intention for your nervous system. You are telling your body, "We are safe. We do not need to absorb the environment to survive." When you encounter that angry person in the grocery store line, bring the image of the golden egg back into your mind. See their anger hitting the gold and sliding off. You can witness it. You can feel compassion for it, but you do not drink it. The third ritual is perhaps the most important for the sandwich generation. It is called the cord cutting. Throughout the day, we form invisible energetic cords with the people we interact with. When you worry about your daughter, you send a cord to her. When you argue with your partner, a cord is attached. By the end of the day, you look like Gulliver tied down by the Lilliputians. You have thousands of tiny threads pulling at your energy. This is why you feel scattered and drained. You need to call your energy back to you. Sit quietly for a moment. Take a deep breath and visualize these cords extending from your solar plexus to all the people you have engaged with. Visualize a pair of golden scissors or a sword of light and gently cut these cords. This is not an act of violence. It is an act of sovereignty. As you cut the cords, say these words: "I call my energy back to me. I return your energy to you. I release you with love." When you do this, you might feel a physical sensation of lightness. You might take a spontaneous deep breath. That is the feeling of your spirit returning to your body. You are no longer fragmented. You are whole. Remember, cutting the cord does not mean cutting the relationship. It means cutting the codependency. It means you are trusting that your loved ones can carry their own fate without your constant energetic interference. It is an act of respect for their journey. There is one final aspect of this practice we must address, and that is the physical release of stored emotion. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we still absorb a heavy dose of negativity. The sponge gets full, and mental visualization is not enough to clear it. You need to move it out of your tissues. Animals know how to do this instinctively. If a gazelle escapes a lion, once it is safe, it will shake its entire body vigorously for a few minutes. It is discharging the adrenaline. It is shaking off the trauma.
Humans have forgotten how to do this. We hold it in. We stiffen our necks. We clench our jaws. So, when you feel that emotional hangover setting in, when you feel that heaviness in your chest, do not just sit there. Shake. Stand up in your kitchen and literally shake your hands, shake your arms, bounce on your heels. Let your jaw hang loose and make a sound. Let out a long sigh. Imagine you are a dog shaking off water after a swim. You are physically shaking off the energy of the day. It looks silly, but it works. It resets the nervous system. It tells your body that the threat is over. By practicing these rituals, the water release, the golden shield, the cord cutting, and the shake, you are building a new way of being in the world. You are moving from being a passive victim of your environment to being the guardian of your own temple. You will find that you have more energy for the people you truly love because you are not wasting it on things that don't matter. You will find that your empathy becomes cleaner. You can listen to a friend in crisis and offer them true presence instead of just joining them in their hole. You become a lighthouse instead of a life raft that is taking on water. A lighthouse stands on the rock. It shines the light, but it does not run into the ocean to save the ships. If it did, the light would go out and no one would be saved. Your duty to your family, to your community, and to yourself is to keep your light burning. And you cannot do that if you are drowning in the emotions of others. This transition takes time. You will forget to put up your shield. You will forget to cut the cords, and you will find yourself hungover again. That's okay. Just notice it, forgive yourself, and get back in the shower. Wash it off and begin again. You are learning a new language of self-preservation. And like any language, it takes practice to become fluent. But what happens when you have done all this? What happens when you have cleared the space and you start to feel emotions that are definitely yours? And what if the emotion that comes up is not peace, but a burning, inexplicable rage? This is often the next layer of the onion for women in midlife. Once we stop carrying everyone else, we finally have the energy to feel our own fire.
We have traveled a long way together today. We have walked through the crowded grocery store of your life. We have looked at the invisible threads that tie you to the pain of others. And we have begun the work of weaving a golden shield around your spirit. As we come to a close, I want to leave you with one final, essential truth. Your sensitivity is not a mistake. Your ability to feel deeply is not a defect that needs to be fixed. It is your superpower. The world needs your empathy. It needs your heart. It needs your ability to sense what is unspoken. But the world needs you whole. It does not need you drowning in a sea of other people's sorrows. Think of a lighthouse keeper. The keeper must keep the glass clean. He must keep the light burning. But he stays inside the tower. He does not throw himself into the waves to save the ships. If he did that, the light would go out, and no one would be saved. By building your psychic skin, by learning to say, "This is not mine," you are not becoming cold. You are becoming a better lighthouse keeper. You are preserving the light so that it can shine for the people who truly need it, for years to come. This shift from being a sponge to being a light does not happen overnight. It is a practice. Tomorrow, you might forget your shield. You might find yourself absorbing your sister's bad mood again. You might come home with another emotional hangover. That is okay. Be gentle with yourself. Just notice it. Say to yourself, I left the door open. And then gently, without judgment, visualize closing the door. Go back to the water, wash it off, and begin again. I want to invite you to make a small, concrete declaration of your new boundaries right now. It is a way to anchor this lesson in your physical reality. Scroll down to the comments section, and I want you to write 4 simple words. This is not mine. Just write that. This is not mine. By typing those words, you are physically returning the baggage you have been carrying for decades. You are telling your unconscious mind that you are ready to put it down. Read the comments from the other women here. See how many others are laying down their burdens alongside you. You are part of a sisterhood of healers who are learning to heal themselves first. Now, I have to share something with you about what comes next. When you start to wring out the sponge, when you finally cleared the space of everyone else's emotions, you might expect to feel immediate peace, and you will. But you might also encounter something else, something unexpected. When you are no longer full of other people's sadness, you finally have the space to feel your own truth. And for many women in midlife, that truth does not always show up as a gentle whisper. Sometimes it shows up as fire. It shows up as a heat in the belly. It shows up as a sudden, inexplicable irritation at the way things have been. You might find yourself snapping at your partner. You might feel a sudden intolerance for things you have tolerated for 20 years. This can be terrifying. You might think you are losing your mind, but you are not. You are waking up. If you want to understand this next phase of your awakening, I invite you to watch my next video, The Rage You Can't Explain, Understanding Midlife Anger in Women. In that video, we are going to walk into the fire together. We are going to explore why this rage is not a symptom of menopause to be medicated away, but a vital, sacred fuel for your transformation. We will learn how to use this fire to forge the next version of yourself without burning down your life. You have learned how to protect your energy. Now, let us learn how to use your power. If this video has been a sanctuary for you today, please consider subscribing to the channel. Think of it as building a wall around your own garden. By subscribing, you are ensuring that you have a place to return to whenever the noise of the world gets too loud. Click the like button, not for the algorithm, but as a signal to yourself that you value your own peace. And if you know a woman who is always tired, who carries the weight of the world on her shoulders, please share this video with her. Give her the permission she is waiting for. Tell her she is allowed to put it down. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for your courage to feel. And thank you for your courage to heal. Remember, your heart is a treasure room, not a storage unit. Guard it well. Rest now. Breathe, and I will see you in the fire of the next video.